This meeting of the Trails Advisory Committee is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of January 8th, 2025 was included in a list of meetings. Notices sent and advertised in local newspapers, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, posted on the municipal website, and has remained continuously posted as the required notices under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. With roll call?
Yep, absolutely. Okay, Vanessa Jones.
Present.
Anne Marie Arleski.
Here.
Jim Kolagowski.
Here.
Robert Kovacs.
Present.
Pradesh Lal.
Here.
Jignasha Patel is absent. Christopher Gonda.
Yep.
Councilman Karazi.
Present.
Did I get everyone? Yes. Great.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the November 13th, 2024 Trails Advisory Committee minutes.
Just one thing, since we keep track of the attendance in the council, so like for Ms. Patel, that's an excused one, so I don't know if you put excuse or just leave it as
Okay.
there. So we don't count it towards absence.
Oh,
Got it. So
We have, I don't know if you,
Right.
I don't know if you know, council basically looks at anybody who participated less than 50%. They have the right to excuse the person if the person didn't have any excuses. So in this particular case, it's an excuse. So put something excuse.
so for this month.
Yeah, for this month,
So
yeah.
the minutes from last month, these are from the November minutes, but for the January.
For January,
want to
starting
keep a note.
January,
Okay,
just put
perfect.
an E in front of it.
That's
so at least
helpful.
we know.
Yeah, we-
Excused, yeah. So it's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. A motion to approve the minutes?
I noticed two things. I think it says
Oh,
October 9th.
sorry.
Yeah, that's cut and paste, right? I do the same. Same thing there. And also, it looks like Robert had done some things during the meeting, and he's not listed in the roll call.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
Yes.
Okay.
Apologize
for
for
that.
No, I just noticed it.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know how to look you up.
It's all good.
And sometimes if somebody walks in a couple minutes later, you forget to
I'm-
add them in there.
I know you were there.
Yeah, Mr. Leo, so it's possible.
That's it?
I made the changes right in here, so you don't have to worry about resending.
Okay,
Okay,
so, a motion.
Yeah, well, you make the motion. Well, no, I think, but you're not
No, I
president
just-
yet. You're not chairperson yet, because we have to reorganize.
Oh.
I have the minutes on first, but yeah, we can reorganize first, and then we can do the minutes if that's better, whatever works for you.
I think Mayor Kramer was doing the thing until we voted.
Until we, okay, so
Yeah.
if you wanna take over and just ask for a motion
Sure,
for the
sure.
minutes?
Do we want to do that, or let's just maybe do the election?
Yeah,
First?
that
We can do the
works.
election.
All right, so somebody has to nominate somebody else?
I nominate Vanessa Jones as chairperson of the Franklin Township Trails Committee
I
Or-
second the
for
nomination.
2025.
Okay, are there any other nominations?
If somebody else is interested, please know that I welcome, sharing the chair and rotating it through. I know I appreciated taking it from Jim, he passed the baton to me, and I'm happy to pass the baton to somebody else too. So just because I'm in the chair does not mean that I need to stay in the chair. So.
I do not see any other nominations, so I close.
Quiet.
I close the
Full faith in you.
Yes,
And I'd like to make a motion to have Vanessa Jones as the chair of the Trail Advisory Committee from January 1st of this year till December 31st.
We have to vote.
Okay.
Oh, wait. All in favor? Say so moved.
So moved.
Okay, sorry. All in favor?
You need a second.
I will second it.
We're all out of our routines.
All right, so we have that done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So now Vanessa, you
Now
Take
we're gonna
over.
go
You're
with
in
the
charge.
vice chair.
You're the
So
vice chair, yeah.
Yeah.
anybody would like to nominate a vice chair?
I guess, we're kind of, because we didn't meet in December, we were kind of going off of the agenda for December.
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking about, because it's January, the need
That's
to.
okay. Yeah,
the need to
yeah.
do that. So, yeah, so we can actually squeeze that back, squeeze this in.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Do
So,
we have a nomination for the vice chair?
Nominate Anne Marie Orlowski as vice chair.
There goes my glasses.
second it.
Do we have any other nomination? Okay, I do not see any other nominations, so I'd like to make a motion to nominate Anne Marie Ortowski for vice chair of the Trail Advisory Committee.
All in favor? Oh, we need
No.
a second.
Second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Hi.
Awesome.
And the last one is the secretary, so nomination for the secretary.
Oh, I nominate Chris.
Tara can bear with me.
Yes, minutes are great. Your minutes are great, yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
Hi.
Is there any other nomination for secretary? Okay.
Do we have a second on that nomination?
I second. Oh, I made the first one.
I wrote down
We
Jim.
make the
Because I
motion.
wrote
That's pretty easy.
Okay. All right, we got Jim for the
Trifecta.
second. We got
Yeah,
Jim for the
I'll second this one too.
Congratulations.
Anyway, I think we're good.
Excellent. Now, we can take.
All right. All right, Yay.
So yeah, I think that we have I think we're in a nice groove right now as a committee, but definitely for the people who are please moving forward next year, think about people wanting to step into different positions. It's definitely as a committee it's healthy to flow and make changes. So. But groups are also nice.
You guys have done a great job.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is public comment.
We have to finish the minutes, I'm sorry. We have to approve the minutes.
Oh, sorry, yeah, we have to go back to the minutes.
So I had, Jim made his changes,
Yeah.
and so with those changes,
Can we have a motion to approve the minutes from November 13th, 2024?
Motion or?
Second.
Okay.
Second, all in favor?
Hi.
Just for further reference, am I able to make a motion to approve the minutes if I grant the
I know you abstained, yeah, I saw the last minutes.
It's a good
Yeah,
question.
you can.
I
You
can?
can. Yeah, it doesn't matter really. As long as everybody agrees, then that's fine.
Yeah.
That would save time.
Hearing no nays or abstentions, motion carries. Now it's time for public comment. We have a motion?
I move to open public comment.
Second.
Hi, public. Hi. I'll just introduce myself. I don't really have anything else to say. My name is Jenny Kafoss. I live locally. I've grown up here. Proud Franklin High School graduate. Around this time last year, I finished up a degree in biology where I focused on invasive plants, and since then I've been working in conservation. I just finished up a seasonal position where I was a conservation research assistant in Massachusetts, and so I've moved back home and I'm continuing to look for other opportunities, and I'm not sure if they'll keep me local or not, but I've been involved with the Environmental Commission for also about a year, and I've really enjoyed hearing about everything that's being done here. So I recommended I come here.
I asked her to come if she was interested because she was at the Environmental Commission meeting on Monday night, and I was saying she doesn't give herself enough credit because she's not even a commissioner, and she's helped us do posts and come to events and help design a poster for us, all of this because she's just talented. And so I said you should come back to the Trails meeting because I thought she might be interested with Pravesh. He works with the Native Plant Society, so I thought maybe you'd be interested with that and some of our trails work, and she just brings a lot of energy, so I thought it might be good for her to see,
And again, for the minutes to make it easy, so your name again, if you could spell it.
Jenny, Jenny, Kafoss, Kafas.
And do we need the address?
No, not
Just the name?
Yeah. the name.
Excellent, okay, thank you.
The other thing, Jenny,
I did like more research in invasive plants and how deer are affecting plant invasion, and I was in a group that was doing that for a few years, and that's sort of like how I finished up my degree. But at this position in Massachusetts, I was doing a little bit of everything. I was exposed to different like land management techniques. I know a bunch about birds now and turtles.
It's such a huge invasive plant problem.
Yeah.
So this is really good. Okay, very good.
Yeah, we have openings, I believe, in this team, in committee, so if you're interested to apply, there's a form, and then,
Okay.
it'd be great.
Absolutely. I figured she could come see what we do and what we're working on. And one cool thing Jenny did too, I think this is correct, because I know her mom also is very involved in things, which is really great. The Environmental Commission for the first time did a program called Save the Mow till, it was a long title. It was like supposed to be Save the Mow till May, but then we changed it to Earth Day because it didn't really work here in New Jersey the way it was. So Jenny actually, I think you won. So she set aside a portion of her yard and did not mow it during pollinator season, and she submitted photos to show how pollinators were coming, and also to show that you didn't have any problems from your neighbors or anything. That was what we were trying to show, is that we don't think the neighbors are going to get, and they didn't, which was great. So.
And I actually waited a little while to mow. There's this big patch of violets. I waited a little while to mow them so that they could set seed, and they did.
Yeah, so it was really, it's cool, so. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome, and later on, feel free to, if you have any questions or anything, we can also open up public comment again if you'd like.
Okay, absolutely, thank you.
All right, we have a motion to close public comment?
Close public comment.
Second.
All in favor? And so there's not a site plan review
We do have a site plan review this time.
Okay.
Yes, it's very simple, but I figured I'd bring it because it was interesting. So right before the meeting started, I had the plan up on my computer, and then I got a weird screen that was like, you've encountered a problem. So I'm just gonna give me 1 second to get it back up here. Okay. So this is a simple one, but I wanted to kind of show you, I wonder if it was when I opened this one, if that was the problem or not. Let me open this and see. Basically, long story short, Verizon Wireless is built a cell phone tower, and it's on their property, which is right next. It backs up to our Willow Ave property. So the place where that grandparents' park was proposed a while back, that's our Willow Road by Willow and New Brunswick Road. Verizon Wireless put up a cell tower on the property that backs up to it, right? So part of their allowance was that they were supposed to put up a 10-foot tall composite fence surrounding the tower. They have asked for an amendment to their variance so that they can put up a chain link fence with privacy slats instead. And they said the township can choose the color and, if that's okay with them, really because of cost. There's a big difference in cost between the chain link and the composite. The other issue is that our property is completely wooded. We use it for hunting. There's no public access there. There's really no big reason, I think. The Environmental Commission agreed. There really is no... why force them to put up this super duper fence? Yeah, they've agreed to put up whatever color chain link fence and the privacy slat. So the Environmental Commission said, we're good with it. We would just like a green or brown fence with green or brown privacy slats. So I figured I'd bring that here to all of you, see what your thought, just because, it's by our Willow Ave property. Even though there's no trails there, it's just,
What are privacy slats in a chain?
In the chain link fence, you know how you would see through the fence? You can buy these plastic slats that you weave through, and then the fence becomes opaque.
I've seen somebody do it like fake plants,
Yeah, fake grass.
Yeah.
It's
Fake
like
grass.
like an AstroTurf.
but I haven't
thing.
seen. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I can bring up the aerial photo if you want, but basically it's let me scroll. There's really not a whole lot to show you here. Their plans are really mostly pictures. What do I say?
So the tower's there, yeah, I see.
Yeah. And part of their requirement is that, they had to put up this, so you can see the tower,
Yeah.
all right? they're just to put up this fence around it, which is a typical requirement of a tower, just for safety purposes.
That tree-like looking thing.
Yeah, that,
So,
I suspect the chain link fence is less plastic.
yeah, and also you can get it in green, and one of the environmental commissioners brought up that like over time, the white composite fence is probably gonna become like dirty and whatever. So this is not like a
Is
huge.
it gonna be vinyl or composite? Because you say composite, and I think composite is completely different from vinyl.
Yeah, I think it said composite, so I was thinking of
It is
what vinyl
metal
looks like.
or is coated with the green plastic.
Okay, yeah. So this would be a lot of savings for them.
Yeah.
And really, it backs up to the Willow Ave property. You know, I can bring up a map of Willow Ave.
Yeah.
Let me just get their block and lot information so I can.
Like, whose requirement is it that it be a composite? Because I'm wondering why. Like, is there a reason why?
So that you don't get, the metal don't come in green practically, right? So what they have is a kind of a wire that we have.
Uh-huh.
And so outside of it, they coat it with plastic, green plastic, brown plastic, black plastic, whatever you want it. So they call that composite. There's nothing, that's what my understanding is with the
Composite was like the decking material.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. If you look at the picture.
Chain link?
No, chain link.
Composite.
Chain link.
I'm
Composite.
talking about the chain link.
Yeah, no, the composite. Well, right.
There's two
So
different
chain link is what it's going to be.
Yes.
The original ask, I believe, was to make a composite fence.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
They
we
make
talked about
decks
the
out
chain
of,
link.
you know, at a
Correct.
Like a
Yeah,
vinyl fence,
yeah,
yeah.
and I don't know, I'm not, you know.
That's very expensive.
Yeah,
Composite is
yeah.
very expensive.
And I think that's what we're doing. We were saying.
Put the requirement on.
Oh, okay.
Releasing them
Our
from the
planning
requirement of
board,
doing
and they probably put it
composite.
on because in other places where towers are near residences or buildings, having that.
You want it to look nice.
You want it to look nice, but, you know, it doesn't.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if the reason was like, you know, it's harder to climb a composite fence than a chain link fence. That's all, I was
Yeah.
wondering about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
But if it's just aesthetics, then I don't think
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, I don't
is a
think so.
priority.
That's because that's a swim club.
Yeah, I'm just getting that 42412. That says 501, right? I need my okay. 42412 501. 42412 501. Okay, so here's our Willow Road property right here, and so they must I think they put it right
on the swim
here.
club's property.
Yeah, it's right here. And so basically they're going to surround the fence with it, but we own all this property here.
Okay.
And this is wooded, so this residence is guarded as well. So really no one's going to really see this fence, you know?
I mean, but ultimately, I know we didn't put the pocket park over there.
Right.
But there's nothing to say that we couldn't put a trail there at some point if we
Oh,
wanted
yeah,
to.
absolutely, yeah.
So hypothetically speaking, I mean, even if we were to put a trail, then
Yeah.
I don't think it would.
It really wouldn't
With a
matter.
chain link fence versus
Yeah.
a composite fence.
Right, no,
Yeah.
that's fine.
No, it's neither here nor there for us.
All right, so
And there's no graffiti on those fences.
True, yeah.
It's tough to, I mean, if there are slats in there, then it's like, it's open game, but, yeah.
all right.
Yes, it is.
So no comment on that?
Well, can they suggest maybe something like this, you know, that the slats looks like a fake Christmas tree?
Right?
Because we had a fence like that.
Yes.
Ah.
It's like grass.
Share that idea.
So that's that.
Okay.
All right, so that was the only one that I had, but yeah.
Thanks.
That's interesting.
Okay. Next item on our agenda, moving on to new business. And we want to talk about the improvements, native grasslands, and recommendations from OSAC.
Yes, so we attended the OSAC meeting in November. December was canceled. And we brought up the bird blind, we brought the feasibility study to the open space committee about looking at all of that. And there was, I don't think I'm wrong in saying, it seemed like there was no interest in doing that whatsoever. None, not from from anyone.
I watched the video.
You did, okay, you did, so you know what I'm talking about, yes. I think Vanessa and I did a good job of explaining it and why it's important and everything, but
I was rooting for
basically,
you, Vanessa.
yeah.
I felt like, because this was not a priority of mine, but it was the committee's.
Yeah.
So I was very conflicted in that meeting. I was like, I have to advocate for the committee. It's not like.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
you,
was
you did
like,
you did a good job, but they were clearly.
They did not want to do it. Their main concern is that there's one person that used to be on the open space committee, Chris Williams. He was in attendance in the public. He has a lot of experience at Negri Napodi. He did a lot of birding there. He's done a lot of work there. He still continues to put up bat boxes and everything.
Repairing.
And his thought was that from his work, he worked in the past as a field technician, I believe. He thinks the vernal pond is functioning great. He thinks it's functioning
It's going to come
exactly as
back.
it should be.
And other people
So-
felt that way too. Other people.
and they
seemed to feel
agreed.
like-
They agreed.
Yeah.
So what he did offer to do, which I thought was great, is he's also a carpenter. He's like a carpenter by trade. He offered to, because now he's retired, he offered to do the work on the bird blind to fix it, to repair it. He sent us the list of supplies. I have it on the screen. I also printed it and then put it in the table, on the table here. He's offered to basically do the work. He'll work with, if there's Boy Scouts that are interested, he'll work with DPW. He'll do it. And he said that he looked at it. He thinks that the bones of it are in good condition. The outer shell needs to be replaced. So he's looking for the materials that are shown up there. And he also said he would like to start doing the work in, I believe he said March, or did he say April? March,
He said
after hunting
after
season.
hunting.
He thinks the total price would be around $1,800. Now, some of these materials we may have at DPW already, or DPW might be able to get them cheaper. But before I went ahead and told DPW to go ahead with it, of course, I need your approval and Open Space's approval to spend up to $1,800 if we need. But he's happy to go out there and do the work. He'll sign a liability release, and he will, he's got the time, he's got the experience, and in his opinion, he thinks that the bones of it are good and that the pond is fine. So
We're not going to go forward. Your suggestion is not to go forward with doing the engineering study or anything like that.
I mean, I would love to do the
It's not
engineering
her
study,
suggestion.
but it's
That's what Open Space.
Yeah,
Open Space.
Space said no.
they weren't open to even the having the assessment. Like there was a lot. My memory is rusty right now, but there was a lot of questioning about getting certification or getting the
Permits or.
permits, right. So there was the cost of doing that. They just felt they didn't feel like it was necessary. They didn't feel it was necessary, and having somebody who attended the meeting offer to do repairs for free. Nobody in the committee was really thinking it made sense. To move forward with the cost of that study.
Yeah.
Now, Tara has, educated me and us as far as, we have money set aside for this. And this is part of, and I feel like in that moment, I wasn't able to muster up all your words that you shared with us.
You did. I mean, we both did, but they were not having it, basically. Every once in a while that happens. So, every once in a
Ugly or anything like
No,
that.
you do.
It was
You know
just,
what? I think what they
Our meeting.
let Chris to do it, and if it's nice, it's done.
right.
And if there's shortcomings, then we can look at it and say, look, we need some additional things.
I
But
think-
right now, for 1,800,
That's more than I thought it was
done.
going to be. I was expecting a much lower number than that.
Yeah.
it may be based on
Yeah.
the materials that we have.
But what he's offering, right, if you read this, is, and I can't really argue with that, right, because when we were there, the frame is fine,
Yeah.
but the sheathing
Yeah.
is falling apart.
Right.
The flooring is falling apart, right? But the frame itself is okay. So what he's recommending here is that he's going to go in, he's going to remove all that sheathing that's no good, and he's going to re-floor it and re-sheath it and put a new roof on it. So it'll be the exact same footprint, the exact same bird blind, but it's going to look completely new, right?
And
And
also,
I would suggest that if he does that, and it really is a good job, we'll acknowledge him with a plaque or something.
Yeah, definitely. I like that.
So what about the issue of the vernal pond is slowly filling up with
Yeah.
vegetation?
Yeah, no one addressed.
That's my bigger concern because the plants are taking over. So
he's saying that once the water comes back, it's going to kill it. It'll kill the vegetation.
and that's why the vegetation has been slowly taking over it over years.
I tried to
Every year
explain
it
the
gets
same
worse.
thing.
So obviously it's not working, so.
You should watch the video. This is where they were absolutely not having it. They were like, no, it's a vernal pond. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing.
No, I
You know, so I
understand the
get it.
functioning of vernal pond, I just
Yeah,
know
no, I'm
it's
not, I
filling
don't
up
actually,
with
so I wasn't
vegetation.
making, all I'm saying is that.
So I'm
their reaction.
wondering, like, but we've also talked about how this is a good time to ask DPW to clean it out. Like, you know what I mean? If we're going to be doing some type of weeding, some type of removal, the fact that it has been so dry should allow more access.
Mhm.
So is that something that we can put towards DPW? That yes, we know that the vernal pond will naturally kill some things, but the perimeter has just been impacted over the years.
And Chris didn't think that the vegetation was slowly taking over?
No, we even brought up that it's obstructing the view of the birds, and he basically said, no, that's not happening.
Photographs that.
And my question about the work with the vegetation that's in the pond that's filling in. We can't do any work in that area unless we have the approval from DEP, right?
Correct. Once we do, sir, that's the thing about removing the weeds. We may be able to trim the perimeter, but we can't actually go in there and remove, because everything, because it's a vernal pond and because it's in a wetlands area, you need approval for almost anything.
Okay, but the perimeter we could do.
The perimeter, I think we can do. The perimeter.
Like going up to the actual bird blind.
Yeah, our DPW should be able to trim the weeds that are blocking the view at least, but yeah.
The cattails are hard to control.
Yeah. We wouldn't need approval from DEP. Thank you for your time, too. I'll have to covered on that.
Thank you so much. All right, see you later. No, go ahead.
Only time
All right.
But we don't need the approval from DEP to work on the bird blind and the structure itself, is that correct?
No, so the bird blind is technically considered like it's almost considered like a shed almost. Yeah, so we're okay there, and we're not changing the footprint. Yeah. We're not removing any of the footings or anything like that. He's just doing work to the exterior. So for that reason, we don't need approval. If we remove one of the footings or replace it or anything like that, then we have to go down the permit way, so.
What about the ramp itself?
The ramp he says he's going to work on as well.
I brought that up too.
Yep.
So what's he going to do?
I think
Or he's going to go there, observe it, and then
he went and observed and he measured already, and I guess he's going to then actually, basically what he's going to do, it's almost like he's going to just fix it, and it's going to look exactly like it once was with his fixing it. So it's not going to change any shape or size or
That's what he's saying. He's going to resheathe it, put a new floor, new
become
roof,
as if it's a new building.
and more fencing on the outside to, what did he say? He says the fencing on the outside of the blind should be replaced with additional fence added to hide the handicap ramp. So, and that's what that's the last thing that he says. He says to do white roof shingles and then flooring, new flooring, so that when you step into it, you won't feel like the floor is going to fall out from under you, and then the sheathing on the outside.
Is he gonna need any hands or, any
He said he would
assistance?
like to have some, so if anyone is interested, if it gets approved, if anyone's interested in helping him, he's happy to work with people, and he said he will, if there's a Boy Scout group, if there's people like on the committees that want it, or he said if I have to do it alone, I'll do it alone. But, I'm sure he would love help, yeah.
so. I think that makes sense, and I know we've had some like Eagle Scout projects, and I even took somebody on a tour recently. We've also had a lot of like Girl Scouts, like the Gold Star Girl Scouts, who've been doing some goals connected to hiking. We had, 2 scouts, one who did the trail, who did a whole book, a guide on trails, and something else. And I think it'd be great to tap into them to kind of expand this. Who can help, build things kind of thing.
Absolutely. So
since we have a couple connections there, maybe we could, if it comes to that, we could reach out to them too.
yes, we definitely could. Yeah, for sure. I'm sorry, Anne Marie. I'm glad you watched the video. I did. I was like getting mad. I was getting red, but nothing worked. And the grandparents park. That's the only other time that's happened to me where it's been flat out rejection.
But I was kind of dumbfounded. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Because if we don't manage it carefully, it will go away.
Yeah. I totally hear you. The only thing I can think of is if we go ahead with these improvements and then it still is like it's a Band-Aid that doesn't work for a long time, then it's like, okay, listen, we tried it this way, now here we go. We really need.
It's kind of two separate things in a way, right?
Yeah.
Because the pond is the pond, right? So no matter what, we had this bird blind or the newer bird blind, we're still going to have to manage the pond. And so
Right.
maybe we just, through our monthly reporting on it, we just monitor it and we can present and share.
Yeah.
And, and maybe we can have, get some more insight. Obviously, people had different opinions about it, like the concerns. So, yeah, we can put it back out there.
Invasive expert, yes.
That's it.
She is quiet, but she
You look like
is
you have
there.
something to say, so.
So, yeah,
I really appreciate Chris offering to do this, and I think it's wonderful, and it's certainly a cost saver. Everyone looks at the bottom line these days, so I get it.
And I do too, and I think, environmentalist to me likes that approach, but you guys were very convincing to me with wanting to have like a crown jewel. You know what I mean? Like having all the fantastic bird blinds we saw, and knowing that we have so many people. That's what kind of like sold me with like, okay, this is it's okay.
We could make this something special.
We can make it something special. So, but it's not the time. So we're going to go ahead with the repairs, and but we did see a lot of ideas. That I think we could apply to our bird blind, like some of the educational pieces that we saw, and some of the samples that had like the different silhouettes of the different birds. Maybe we can put some effort into kind of updating educational materials built into it, and kind of take it to another level in that way.
So is everyone okay with at least at the time when OSAC recommended this, we didn't have the supply list, of course, and we didn't, because Chris was like, I'll do it, I'll fix it. That's how it came up. So I have to put this on the open space agenda to approve the $1,800 and him working on it. Do you want me to do that, basically, is the question.
We had identified other materials too that we would consider for the bird blind if we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still on the table? Or are we just sticking with lumber at this point?
Well,
We do
you're
have
gonna
a
fix it.
budget, right? Oh.
Yeah. I guess at this point, we would go with what he is recommending, being that he is the one that would do the work. But I think we can mention it. We can say to him, hey, listen, is there, like at the open space meeting, I can bring that up. I can say, thank you so much for your supply list. Do you think it would be better if we used, and I'll go look at the other materials that we had thought of, and they're going to say right away, well, that's triple the price. So, but I can absolutely
also
bring
be
it up.
that, it could also be that he's not qualified to work with those materials too.
Correct. That could be it too. He's a carpenter, yeah.
Exactly.
So he's recommending this.
And then-
What material would you have suggested?
Well, I know there are different, like
Trek boards.
The Trex.
And composites, like
Composites as
Trex
well.
and things
Yeah.
like, things that would last over
We talked
time.
about
That they've,
Sheathing, yeah.
those, the picture of the bird blinds that they've used in Mercer County and also in Cape May County, those are all composite materials. And they're built to last.
Yeah, Michael, our previous intern, had come up with, and I can show Chris this. Actually, I think I did show them this, but I can show him there was like examples in here of here we go, materials. I can show him this and say, is any of this possible, and doable?
He didn't include the composites in there.
No.
It
I
just has
don't-
other materials, vinyl.
Yeah.
It wasn't his thing. He did good research.
Yeah, and it might be also like if it's like more of like a patchwork kind of a thing right now, fixing the damaged parts. You don't want to have a mix of hardwood and the Trex.
I remember in Michael's report there were also concerns about how the water is draining off the roof and all those other considerations. So is Chris trying to just rebuild what's already there in the current design?
Yes.
Or are we trying to improve upon the design?
He's trying to just basically repair what's there. However, though, that's a good point. If there is clearly a place where like there should be a different grading with the actual like pieces itself, then we can recommend that to him. But we can't do any like grading or anything to the ground because then we go into permit territory. But that is a good point. I can make sure, I can tell him that too, like, hey, if there's an area that needs to be, you know, I don't know what the correct term is, I'm saying graded, but, you know, if you clearly see that water is, you know, ponding here, if you can do something to fix that.
Or some of the framing, when he takes off the sheathing, is rotting.
Yeah, replace that.
That's going to be the problem.
Can you go back to the picture of like the current bird blind? Just
Oh, yeah,
get a
and
look
all this
at, so you
lovely
can look
Yeah,
at
then
it.
you can see it, yeah.
The other thing is, we didn't share like that presentation, at this meeting. I'm wondering if we want to share the presentation with Chris.
I shared, so Chris wasn't at the meeting that I shared this at, but I
Right.
did share this with them, and that was when it
No, I
kind
meant
of.
with Chris, because
Oh, with Chris, I can share in this.
Referring to some of the
Yeah.
research and some of those spots he pointed out, like he's not, and he's very familiar with Negri, but he
Well,
might not
he
have
went there
analyzed it
and-
the same way.
Yeah, he went there and like that's how he came up with his supply list.
Yeah,
Like so, yeah. And he says, you know, he knows everything about the bird blinds. So
Yeah, but it's the sheathing, right? The frame itself is,
let me go up.
We hope it's
solid.
intact.
We hope.
No, we don't know.
well, I mean, it is.
You'll know when you take the sheathing off for sure.
Yeah.
You know walking.
And replacing the fence on both sides, it looks so crappy.
Yeah. But I think it'll look a lot better.
It'll look
Well,
better.
The
definitely.
sheathing.
Yeah, well, look at this.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Right? And it's re-sheathed, but that's a very solid, structure, right? So it's just, the sheathing is rotted.
I mean, should it be painted also to preserve it a little bit more, or?
Yeah, he's recommending painted, wood primed, so primed wood siding is what's on his list.
Oh.
So that should get painted, right, presumably,
Yeah.
afterwards. I don't even think that has shingles on the roof, does it?
No, I don't think. Let me back up.
Depending on the slope, it could be just like a roll roofing.
Yeah, I don't
see?
think it's
I mean,
shingles, yeah.
It's a good slope, that roof. He'll take all that off, put new pressure-treated plywood roof on it, and then shingle it with asphalt, right? I think white roof shingles. White roof shingles, that's interesting. But anyways, I think he's recommending asphalt shingles here, because that's like the standard.
Slope
And
it
then-
the other way so it goes into the pond.
And he's doing pre-primed wood siding on his list here, which then presumably we can go and paint afterwards. Right?
Or if we're not painting it, at least sealing it. I think sealing
Definitely
it.
has to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be gray, right? That's
Should
this
be,
this stuff. I'm pretty confident that this stuff
Well, I mean,
comes.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
Either gray or white.
One
Pre.
of our members mentioned because of the slope and where the water is draining, it was causing some of the degradation of the wood.
Mhm, yeah,
So I think a gutter was mentioned in one of our meetings earlier. Like,
I think
Chris,
it
you have a
was.
good memory. I thought, as you say this stuff, I'm like, well, that's right.
Well, I went through the meeting twice.
Yeah. This is what it is. It's
Materials.
typically
I mean,
gray.
yeah, we can definitely mention,
Yeah.
and this was like examples that he found.
Yeah.
So that's,
Some of them are just so cool and artsy.
I know.
So I do like the natural wood rather than a paint, quite honestly. I think those look nice. The
As
natural
long as
wood.
it's sealed properly, I think.
It's, yeah, just sealing it properly.
Yeah. It definitely needs to be sealed, but I think we get him and DPW to seal it when we're out there, because if we build it and then we have to put a request in to seal it, it's
Yeah,
not getting
yeah.
sealed. I'll
Right.
tell you that
But
much.
that needs to be part
It
of
has
the.
grooves in it. It's like
Uh-huh.
this is the typical sheathing you use for a shed.
Okay. But
Right.
does it have to be gray? Can it be brown?
It's typically gray. It's.
I think that's like the color it comes in.
I
But
don't know
see,
if it
that's
comes
the
in
thing,
any
it's
other
like,
colors.
that's when, and we're super grateful, to Chris, but it's like, when someone's volunteering to do
Yeah.
it, if it like, that's what he.
All right, we'll paint
also,
it. We'll
this
just
is-
paint it brown then.
This is the right. Well, this is the primer color that you're supposed to paint.
Oh, okay, okay. Got
Yeah.
it, got
This is
it.
meant to be painted.
I just feel we want it to flow with the rest. We want to and to get the whole fence thing going and, cleaned up, so.
So I'm gonna put it on the open space agenda, but I do need a recommendation from this committee that like, yes, we support this, or no, we don't support this. This way I can let them know what the thought is.
Well, our alternative is to not do anything and leave it dilapidated. You just leave it, I wouldn't say it's dilapidated.
They're already against
Just leave it.
anything else, so I mean,
Yeah, that's our only option, to do it or not do it.
Right.
And the other issue to keep in mind too is that in the event that it ever gets deemed like unsafe, it's like the
If
same
you
with the
lose it.
skate park, we have to close it because our insurance will require that.
Yeah.
So it's better to at least now, I think, rehab it in the meantime.
Oh, for sure.
So that doesn't happen, you
It has
know?
to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if he's willing to do it as early as March, I mean, that's
great.
excellent.
So we'll support the moving forward with this, and then with the caveat that we want to monitor it and to see how it ages and also monitor the pond
Correct,
because we
yeah.
are concerned about optimizing both the pond and the bird blind.
And I don't know if there's a buffer in the estimate here, $1,800. I mean, if you put it before open space, they might ask, what if there's overruns or something
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that?
is
So
this
it should
price
have-
of 1,800 include the wood or not?
I think it's everything.
The wood, but I agree with you. I think we should say we approve the 1,800,
Yeah.
but if he needs to go up to
Up to 2,500.
2,500, he
Yeah.
can. For example, if he takes something off and something's rotted and he needs to replace it, or he's out there and he didn't include, we want him to paint it as well this way. So I think that's a good point. So is up to 2,500. I mean, that's a steal, 2,500 for this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The original, just the
study.
engineer study was so much more, so.
Yeah.
Because in his materials list, he's not putting trim pieces, and you kind of need the trim pieces if nothing else to keep the rain out, right?
Right.
On the sides and whatnot, so.
Okay.
So he's also replacing the fencing.
Yes.
Am I reading that right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's why it's that much. Okay.
So it's
So you're
13
saying-
pieces of pressure-treated wood fence, which is pretty good because what you see there is the absolute, cheapest.
Cheapest.
Yeah.
The Home Depot, they're
Right.
trying to get rid of.
Yeah, panels, right?
Yeah.
And the reason you can see the gaps between them is there was no gaps and it shrunk, over time.
Ah. Well, honestly, I don't know when the last time that fence was sealed or painted. I really.
Potentially never.
Right. So.
Yeah, like the fence in the back of my yard. I picked the absolute cheapest because it's all the way in the back and nobody can see it. And I'm,
Right.
and I'm already regretting. It was like last March. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is going to get replaced in a year now.
All right, so I will let open
Deposit
space
fence,
now.
30 years.
Yeah.
Still looks brand new.
Yeah.
I do pressure wash it.
There's
but-
something about vinyl.
Right?
Just like,
You do take excellent care of that fence, Jim.
I'll let open space know, and if you're interested in helping Chris or anything like that, I can put you in contact with him. Anybody, if anyone's interested, I can put you in contact with
Hopefully
him.
on the weekend or something like that.
Yeah,
If it's,
absolutely. Okay,
It's
perfect.
grunt work to carry stuff, to
Yeah.
the site.
Yep. All right, perfect.
Okay.
On to bummer, but
All right. So the next item we have is the profile of a trail.
Profile of a trail.
Yeah, I think I fell down on the.
I know, Vanessa, you sent me an email. Let me just. That's okay. Vanessa, you sent me something, right?
Well, I sent something to Anne Marie as a kind of get the ball rolling a little bit.
Yes,
with it.
which she greatly appreciated.
All right, let me find it here. Hang on.
And again, tell me what the audience was for this, because I kind of lost sight of this project over time.
I think it was for the Franklin News.
yeah.
Okay. To encourage the public to come out and see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, here
And
it
now
is.
we'll have a brand new bird blind for people to come out and see.
exactly.
A brand new rehab.
Okay, so if you look on the screen, so Vanessa basically took the language out of our Pathways and Trails plan. Here's a photo. And then she took the language out of our Pathways and Trails plan and she added, are you looking to immerse yourself in local nature, to see native grasslands and beautiful birds? And I think this is perfect because it's really going to be for Instagram, Facebook. It's going to be for the newsletter when it comes out. But right now, if we can get this on Instagram or something like that, that would be perfect.
And I commit
Short,
to the
sweet.
next one.
Oh, you did that? Yes.
I am going to commit to the next. So I've adopted, the environmental center area, right? And I hiked it, a couple of times. My son was home and we kind of went at it. And when it gets a little warmer, I will paint. It turns out that it is all blue, so I do have all the right paint.
Oh, great.
I don't know why I thought they were red trails, but they're blue trails, so I'm gonna paint them. And then I wanna write a profile of the trail. I might be between jobs for a month or
Okay.
two, or maybe even 3.
Oh.
So
All right.
I love the job that I'm at, and
wow.
but it's going to go to. I'm going to go to a better place. And
Oh,
it's
good.
gonna be- so it's going to work out very well for me.
Okay.
And I might be unemployed all the way until like June. There's a possibility.
Oh, all right.
So the silver lining for the Trails Committee
Yeah.
is.
So I haven't.
You want to build a
had-
bird line?
I haven't had 6 unbroken weeks since I've been like 11 years old. So
Oh, good for you.
yeah, I keep telling my wife I'm going to do the Camino L. What is it? The L.
Neither have I.
Oh, yeah.
It's 6 weeks.
I know what you're talking
Yeah, in Spain.
Camino
you know.
something.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
you know, the
Okay.
hiking
Yes,
trail,
yes.
the thing that you do for 100 kilometers. You know, I
I've
keep
heard
telling
of
my
that.
wife I'm going to go.
Oh.
It's like Appalachian Trail, but
in
like,
Spain. Yeah, it's like the Appalachian Trail, but it's in
Good for
Spain.
you.
And,
start here, do the AT here.
yeah, she's not very impressed by this idea. But she's on video. She's going to watch it now.
Right?
So,
You're what?
Repairing our sign.
That I've got under control. It's actually
Add that to
sitting.
your list.
It is sitting in my basement next to my desk, and I look at it all the time. I'm like, I've got to get this done because somebody's going to come looking for this very soon. So.
all right, getting back to this for a minute here. Red-shouldered hawk, that would be lovely, but not very common. It's a great horned owl, great, not gray.
Well, this is from the,
This is from the other.
I know.
So then that needs to be correct.
Okay.
And
all right.
flying squirrels, I don't know about that.
Okay.
That'd be totally cool, but
that's just a screenshot, that part, because I couldn't get the, some of this is like copy and pasted, but like that part that I had to screenshot because I couldn't do the formatting.
Oh, okay.
For
All
that
right.
part.
We can change the spelling on there and everything.
Do you want to, okay, we can always in that email, or we can go back and make those changes.
Yeah. Do you want to go through that and make the final changes, Anne Marie, if everyone's good? We just want a nice picture, short and sweet. Basically, if someone was looking at it, they'd be like, oh my gosh, I
It's
didn't
the
know that
elevator
existed.
pitch.
I want to go there. Yeah.
yeah. Is that Negri, that picture?
Yes.
Okay. So I was looking, I was like, I couldn't blow it up to see
That's,
what.
once again, that's directly out of the PTP.
Okay.
And
Like I said, I can't blow it up, so I couldn't verify.
And I think I also pulled up the trail map, like just the things in the trail map. Was that, I can't remember, because I know if you scroll down, like that part there.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's from the PTP.
This is all from the P. So even this is, that is nice. I guess we could make this another picture and post that on Instagram.
But this is also for the Franklin News, right? Like that.
It is.
That we were thinking it was going to go out with the quarterly, whatever.
Yes.
I'm thinking if I do something, there'll be like a long form thing and a short form thing.
Yeah.
So one meant for a couple of snippets meant for social media, and then something maybe that's like
Yep. Yeah, both.
Knowing me,
But
I'll
the Franklin Times, I don't know when that's going out next, so it'll go out soon at some point. But in the meantime, we can still post on social media, and we can post on our website too. We can make a little section if we want.
You post on social media, how big can it be? Like, was there limits of how many characters or?
There's not limits, but we don't want to make it too much because then people they get lost.
Flyers.
Yeah.
Like the flyers we make for the.
People don't read, so.
No, basically, what Vanessa wrote here in the beginning, I really liked. Like these questions, this is great. So we would basically put this picture, put this here. I don't know if we put this here on social media. We'd probably get rid of this.
But
we
there should
probably
be
put
underneath the
this.
location, right? It says the.
Yes, we'll put the location.
Right there. So
And
there-
we'll put the map. It will put a link to the map. So it'd be like for social media, it would be like this here.
Like Skillman Lane.
Yeah, a picture of the beginning of that part, a picture, and then maybe we turn this into a picture, or we turn the map into a picture. And then for the article, though, longer. So what do you guys think? You want to, now here's the only thing, so I'm just thinking of this right now. And we have some work that we still have to do anyway, but to post it now would be difficult because Negri is going to be closed anyway, is closed for hunting. Except on Sundays, but it's like, do we
Right.
post it now and like
So-
drive people there right now, or do we post this in February, end of February?
As soon as hunting is over.
Yeah, end of February.
Yeah, end of February.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I think for the Franklin Times, those things require such early submissions.
Yeah, so it'll
But
be
I'm wondering if
ready.
we could just, right, whenever that submission opens, they're not going to get this before
Yeah.
That'll be-
Coordinated so that we have the Franklin Times that tap into the social media and our own website, like they kind of go together, so.
Yeah?
So it
you know,
would be.
like a campaign, yeah.
Yeah, that is nice.
Oh, yeah, so we could, yeah.
Mhm.
You know, we try to get as many people as possible.
That's a very good idea.
I like
No, I know,
that.
Anne-Marie, you had said, because you talked to one of the tap into people at
Yes,
Franklin.
yeah.
He
Right.
was like thrilled.
Exactly, yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, do we want the person who's doing the profile shares it, or?
I would
do
want
you
to
wanna
share it.
I can share it. Usually when I share things with the news, I share it to tap into and to the Franklin Reporter. Yeah.
Okay, so,
That's good, Bill.
and then also for the social media.
Yeah, social media to send to IT. Yes, so I can do that. But we just need like a final copy. So do you want to look over it, over Vanessa's email, and then let me know what you think, any changes, and then we can put something together. Then Robert, in the meantime, if you want to work on
Yeah, I commit to it,
Bunker
but at the end of March, right? So that's when I commit
Yes.
to it.
I just want to do the environmental center.
Environmental Center, I'm sorry, yes, Environmental
The
Center.
Bunker Hill Environment, there's a whole, right, I don't know what, I can't
Oh,
forget
yeah.
the name of the
You
the
said
thing.
Bunker Hill, and I heard Butler Road.
Wait, Bunker, is it Bunker?
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm gonna get them mixed up.
Honestly, the thing is, if anyone, and say for some reason happen to be just sitting around one day and you're like, man, I really feel like doing a profile of a trail,
Right,
we can have it and then we can.
Yeah,
So you don't have to-
we'll all work on ours, and then they're ready to
Yeah.
go.
We write them all, you
Yeah.
know, and then release them as time
Perfect.
goes on. But I commit to writing one now.
And I
Yeah.
think, and once again, I think in the PTP, there's a lot there. We just need that little catchy, kind of like sales pitch. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So Anne Marie, just look it over and let me know what you
Grabber.
think.
I have to get a grabber. Okay.
Awesome.
You have to. You're competing with so much noise.
Tell them to come see the new bird blind.
The refurbished. The refurbished.
Refurbish.
Look at our vernal ponds.
Go for a swim.
What does a dry vernal pond look like? Wait, no more. Okay.
That's right. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
So the profile of a trail. So okay, and then vacancies on trails.
So yes.
I didn't realize we had any vacancies.
I didn't either, but so this is what I've learned. I have to bring up the ordinance establishing the Trails Committee, so I have to go back for this. So I got a call from Bob Warnlocker. First of all, while we're talking about vacancies, Jignasha's not here, but Anne Marie, if you can sign your oath and then give it back to me, and I can get it to Anne Marie McCarthy. So I'm gonna pass this down. If you give it to me, I'll get it to her. This way you don't have to worry about that. If you want to give her that pen, you can, up to you.
This is the first time I've seen it, right? I mean,
Yes,
she
you
didn't.
haven't got it yet. Nope.
She just asked me if I was interested, and I said yes.
Perfect.
So where do I sign? There's all these things. I sign all this?
Signature, print name, your address for town, all that stuff. Just don't sign the part that says sworn before me. Okay, so I got a call from Bob Warnlocker. So there's like some reasons why we have vacancies. The first is the Trails Advisory Committee, the ordinance allows for 9 members. So we already have 2 spots that are not filled. That's the first thing. The second thing to bring to your attention, Vanessa, just so you know, so when John Hurling left the Open Space Advisory Committee, I guess the way we were looking at it is like open space, Trails had a liaison to open space, but according to the ordinance, it's actually open space as a liaison to Trails and vice versa, right? So John's position was actually, he was an appointed open space member who then came to Trails, right? Now you're the open space member. So your term is concurrent with your open space term, right? So you used to be like that.
I'm not I took Chuck's position in open space, and Chuck was a community member. So I was, and Warlocker confirmed that at the last meeting.
No, so he said that Chuck, when John Hurling left Trails, I guess at that time, did Chuck move into that position?
No, Chuck was there.
Chuck was there. Okay, so
So those are two separate things.
Okay, but right now you're the liaison from the Trails to the. what I'm trying to say is I think as of now, they want you to be the Trails member since you're the chair of the Trails and you're an open space member, which doesn't have any effect on you. All it means is that in order, like, your two terms are concurrent with each other. So when you get reappointed to Trails, you get reappointed to OSAC. They go together. It goes the other way too, though. That's the only problem. Say you're like, I don't want to do OSAC anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
I
However,
was led to believe, I was led to believe that it was better for me to be on OSAC, not as a Trails liaison.
right.
That it should be a member of open space who would be the Trails liaison.
Right, but
who's
now we have no
who was
one.
already there.
Right, but now we have no one from Trails besides you on open
Right,
space. So
right,
it makes
right,
sense
right.
for you to fill the Trails seat.
And you're saying that the ordinance is actually that the Open Space Advisory Committee sends
a
the
liaison
liaison
to
It's
Yeah.
opposite to what we've
Right.
been thinking.
And because
Yes.
you're the only person that is sitting in both now,
Yes.
I think what Mr. Vornlocker is like,
That's not what he said when we
you
were
are
in the
now
meeting.
the,
Right.
that
Now
person.
you are, as of
Now-
this
May-
reorg meeting.
Without regard to what you were in the past,
Yes.
that's what you are now.
So you're not the open
I'm not
space
sure
liaison.
of that.
Okay, well, that's what
So you're not the open space liaison, you are the Trails liaison. Do you get it?
Correct.
Open space liaison?
You're an open space
No.
member, but the Trails liaison.
So technically, the way the
Right,
ordinance is
Right,
written.
right.
The open space.
Right,
Very
so
weird.
if I were to leave open space, I could no longer be on Trails.
Well, I
You
mean,
could,
you
but
could.
someone would have to fill the
You
spot
just have
from
to take
open
a different
space.
seat.
Correct.
Yeah, you have to.
This just happened on our environmental commission, just so you know, one of our people, their environmental commission term was tied to their shade tree commission term because they're a representative from shade tree, and he decided I don't want that anymore. And so when his term came up, they just switched him out, and we got a new representative from the shade tree commission. So it's not like a big deal. To me, it's not a big deal. If it's understandable if you don't like it. It doesn't I understand but I don't think it frees up another spot.
And then the other thing is, like, when the conversations I've had with Chuck, when deciding to apply to be on open space, was the idea of having more representation.
Right.
And so that it was Chuck and John.
Right.
And
So apparently, though, Chuck was actually not the Trails
No, I know he
member.
wasn't.
John,
No,
right.
that's the
John
point. That's the
yeah.
point was
Right.
Chuck was not there as Trails. He was there as community member.
He was a person,
But he
yeah.
had a trail focus,
Correct.
and trail
Correct.
appreciation.
Right.
So you had John as the open space person, and that's how I was aware of that because
Yeah.
he was on open space and he just came to our trails meetings to be the bridge.
Right,
Like that
right.
was the same way the councilman kind of comes
Right.
as the bridge. So that made complete sense to me.
Right.
And then, so Chuck, his thinking was, okay, it'll be good. Now you kind of have the actual liaison, but then you have another community member, and that spot is more secure. That was my understanding of how it was explained to me. And you have multiple perspectives.
Yeah.
Multiple.
But I think the thing is with the
voices.
Open Space Committee, Environmental Commission is another example. There's only so many seats, and because like Trails, like you're from Trails, they
I
view you
thought
as
that-
taking.
I think what's confusing is that John resigned from one and not both.
John
So
resigned.
John
Yeah.
resigned from Trails. I had assumed when he resigned from Trails, he was just resigning from open space, but he didn't.
No.
So it's at that point, should they not have then selected somebody else
to serve on
be
Trails.
the Trails liaison?
Right.
Yes, that probably should have happened. But what I think happened, I think that Melba also passed away around that time. So I think Melba was also a community member. I think John moved into Melba's old spot. So then he became a community member, meaning he didn't have to step off. So there was a lot of shuffling happening. Melba, Chuck, other people.
But John was on open space long before
Yes,
he
he
became
was.
a trail liaison.
Right.
So I guess at some point that became a want.
I think we wanted a liaison from I feel like the reason John started coming was because like a request was made to open space that he should start coming,
The
or
ordinance.
somebody.
I opened up the ordinance,
Yeah.
right, and it says, "The Township of Franklin Trails Committee shall be composed of 9 members,
Right.
appointed by the Township Council and confirmed by the vote of a majority of the members of the council, and then at least 1 member shall be appointed from the Open Space Advisory Committee." So
Right.
one of us one of the 9 here has to be from the Open Space Advisory Committee. And I
Right.
guess what Mr.
Right.
Bordlacher is suggesting is that,
You
congratulations.
Yeah.
It's you, assuming you could always say no, I said presumably.
You could, yeah.
But then somebody else from the Open Space Committee has to be appointed and then has to join this board, and you can become one of the other 8 members. I suppose that's an option, should you choose not to accept the mission that you
Yeah.
do.
That probably could be an option.
But somebody from,
I just need to think about it. I'm not a good alternative processor, so
Yeah.
I need a little time.
But somebody-
It's probably not like anything wrong with it, but it feels like a little like weird. to
It's
me,
not,
because it's not what I was told. And
somebody from OSAC has to be appointed from OSAC to sit in this committee.
Right, and
That's what
being
the
that you're
ordinance
there
says.
already, you're already there at open space, it does make more sense because so say you don't do it, right? Then really, open space is supposed to be comprised of like recreation, historic, trails, all these, so then it's like there's more than one trails person, which isn't really the intent, you know what I mean? So I think that's what the issue is. I think, that's what I'm guessing.
Okay.
You want to consider?
Because then recreation could do the same. You know what I mean? Like there's one recreation person, there's one historic person, there's one. So I think that's the reason why. I think. That's all I can.
Yeah.
Now, if Vanessa is the liaison from open space, then there's another opening.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. So right now I know for sure we have 2 openings. For 100% sure. So keep that in mind. We have 2 openings. If you do become the liaison from open space.
You have 7 members right now.
Yes.
Us and Jignasha?
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
So we definitely have 2 openings. So if anyone knows of 2, or if anyone's interested, I told Jenny, I said, don't feel pressure, but come and see what you think. We have 2 openings.
Showing up to this meeting is.
Agree on Sunday.
So I gotta.
I don't know if Vanessa was to accept, like, what is okay with that, if that means that we have 3 openings, or if that just means we really still only have 2 openings. I have to really get, like, clarification on that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so you might be considered a liaison rather than a committee person, is that?
Well, there's still you're still considered a committee person. You have the same voting power and all of that as stated in the ordinance. It's just that, like, one of the 9 members can't just be like, I applied for it and I want to do it. One of the seats is reserved for an open space member.
Okay.
And that's basically what it is, yeah. Just like we have a council person, although it's a little bit different, but like he's assigned here, right? So one of the seats on our committee is supposed to be held for
Has to
open
be somebody
space.
from the Open Space
Yeah,
Commission.
so technically eight community members can happen. If we were full, 8, and 1 must be from open space.
I read the Open Space ordinance too, by the way.
Oh, good, yes.
And there is no stipulation that there be a limit to the number of people who are also on the Trails Commission. So
There's not, no.
The way the open space is set up is it's 11 people.
Right.
7 of them, I guess, are stipulated, like from the agricultural, from shade
Right.
tree, from recreation, from the environmental commission. 1 member of the planning board has to be on it.
Yep.
And then, so they're sent from the planning board to the open space commission. And then 6 citizens, right?
Correct.
So you must be a citizen member of the
Yes.
open space advisory.
Yes.
Well, no, you continue to be, right?
You
A
do
citizen
continue
member,
to
and
be.
then you are the one that has been sent
You're sent to
here.
OSAC,
Unless,
yes.
like I said, unless you don't want to do it, and then somebody else from that.
From open space.
From the
If
open
someone
space,
else is
then has to
interested.
join this committee
Yes.
to be the designated representative.
Right.
How does it interplay with the fact that she's the chairperson of the?
That's not a problem, yeah.
mentioned
I
in the
already
ordinance.
verified that. That's no issue. Now, if another member comes from open space, though, it's going to be whoever is sent here. So I just want you to keep that in mind. You go to open space, so I don't have to say, but you know what I mean. We don't know who it's going to be, so it could be you, or it could be
Another member of the-
12 it's 2, the committees, 12 is a lot.
9. We're only allowed to have 9.
No, I mean on open space.
Oh, yeah, but that's because they wanna
And
have a
it's big-
spot, yeah.
like,
They
you
wanna
can't
have a
sit at the
spot for
table, like-
everybody.
Different commissions.
When I come to the meeting, the first thing I do is make sure there's enough chairs at the table, because if you come in 2 minutes late, there's not chairs at the table. It's so
Yes.
awkward. But like nobody cares but me. So it's like, oh my god, because I feel bad if someone's like sitting off to the
No.
side, and it's just so many people people. It's just so many people.
Open space, that was designed because they oversee the trust fund, that someone from everyone that can use the trust fund is there, so that's why you have like historic,
But it feels like it's more
recreation.
than 12. It feels like a lot of people.
Oh, the board of ed has a liaison, the planning board has a liaison.
16 members of the Open Space Advisory Committee.
There's 16.
Yeah, 16, because one is the township manager is supposed to be
Yeah,
a
some are
member.
non-voting.
Chief financial officer of the township planner,
Yeah.
a member of the Board of Education, the director of recreation, or the assistant recreation director, and then 11 additional regular members to be appointed by the township council,
Yes.
drawn
Those
from
are the
among the
voting.
following, and that
Yeah.
has to be like different, and then there's 6 different,
Okay, so is there any decision that needs to be made, or I guess I'm confusing. Is this something that's going to come up at our next OSAC meeting, or something I have to think about now?
No, I don't think I don't think there's any major discussion to have unless you want to have a discussion separately with me
Yeah.
and then with Bob. But the only discussion to have at this point is that we have 2 vacancies, so I just wanted to make that known.
Right.
And if anyone's interested, or you know someone who may be interested, because if we have 2 vacancies, we may as well fill them. We don't have to though. We also don't have to. We've been doing okay with our 7.
I know that when I think it was National Trails Day, we also had a couple of people. I know Jignasha was speaking with somebody. There were a couple of people who were interested. That guy, I forget his name, but it was Forrestad. So Forrestad was also. So we have a couple of people who we could also.
Yeah.
People oftentimes don't follow through with it, so I'm not anticipating that they would follow through with it. But
Right.
But there's
Yes.
we could definitely reach back out to those contacts.
Yeah.
From that.
I'm
And
trying to think of who else was interested.
We could put a post out even that basically says like, hey, we're looking for 2 people. I mean, we're doing okay with who we have now for sure. But if people, just so it's known, we do have the ability to have 2 more people for sure. So, and I'm just trying to do the math in my head. It's still not calculating 100%. But if you're the open space person, I think we might have another spot open. I think. Is that right or no? Does that make sense?
+1.
8 plus.
The way I read
We would
Yeah.
not. So we
The
only
way I-
have 2. Regardless, 2.
Right.
Right, okay, so
That's
that's now figured out. Regardless, 2 positions, so
Well,
9 altogether,
9 altogether.
9 altogether.
which makes sense for voting stuff.
However,
Yeah.
if you choose not to be the liaison from the Open Space Advisory Committee,
Oh, we only have
then
one.
they need to send somebody, and then there's really only one.
There's
Then only one. That's how it goes. There
Yes.
you go. See, I'm trying to figure out how does this work? Yes, okay. So
Okay.
at most we have 2, but we at least minimum have 1.
Okay.
So
I
who does
believe
the
once you
official
get time to think
assigning from OSAC to say, okay,
Our
Vanessa, you're going
Our
to,
chairman would do it.
okay,
So if Vanessa doesn't do it, that means that it would be either your representative from our historic commission, recreation, environmental commission, ag advisory committee. It could be all the people that just rejected our bird blind, for example.
Yeah, but it would be somebody who's not currently liaison to another committee.
No, they're all liaisons from other committees, unless you're a citizen member.
Yeah.
citizen.
Right.
That's what I mean. So
It
it would
doesn't-
be a citizen member.
It doesn't say that it has to
No,
be.
it would not be a citizen member. It would most likely be someone from, it could be a citizen member, but the people I'm thinking that would want to probably come over, have the time to, would probably not.
Okay. I'm sure it'll all be fine, and I'm sure I'm fine with it. I just need to wrap my head around it.
Give it a
Yeah.
couple days.
Makes sense.
so I like this part of the ordinance, it says each member shall hold office until a successor is appointed and confirmed. So does that mean you can't leave until you?
You're stuck
find-
until it's
You're stuck.
confirmed, yeah.
It's kind of like our soccer club, yeah.
Yes.
You resign.
Well, at the bare minimum, if anyone knows of a person, if there's one person, we know we can at least take one person for right now. So if someone was to come around and say, do you have any vacancies? I would say right now, say we have 1,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
And then moving forward, if we have another, then we have it, then we will. That'll be a
Okay.
good way, but,
Great.
yeah, I think it'll be okay.
Okay.
Here's a copy of the ordinance because it does say how to be appointed and approved.
The ordinance.
If you're interested, there's a form I can send you, and you
Okay.
fill it out, and then they would discuss it, and then our council person.
The
would be
ordinance, is that-
appointing.
This is in the,
And it
this
a
is
little
on the,
tricky,
what you call it?
like, finding it on the website and the
Yes.
submitting
But
it
it wasn't here
process.
in one of these.
It's a little tricky to
I
find.
know, I don't-
So,
Yeah, I never print out
reach
what's
out,
I just read
and we
them.
can like, make sure that you don't give them.
Email me.
You
and
wanna
I'll
see it,
get
or I guess you
if you're
saw it?
interested.
No, I actually brought up the website.
Got it.
No pressure, yeah.
The township website has like a
Okay.
ordinance tool, right? So.
Oh, okay.
All right, where are we in the?
So, next,
All right.
last item of new business is accessibility of all ages and abilities on trails.
Yes, so you want to put this on, I think, Vanessa.
I did. It's been like a couple months.
I
since,
know.
We canceled our December meeting. So one of, we had the privilege of doing the hike, and I don't know if we had a meeting since then. The hike that we did
October.
with Therapeutic Rec.
November, yep.
So we had the November Therapeutic Rec hike, and I know Anne Marie, Jignash, and myself. Who else was there?
Was there, you were there.
Okay, and Chuck was there, and it was, and this was, a hike, catered people with varying abilities, and we did have somebody there in a wheelchair, and we had people with different mobility levels and different, just different abilities, and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful hike. We picked Negri because it does have the handicap accessible path with that crushed stone. I've had at several tabling events, thinking at least a couple 4th of July ones, where people came up to me and asked me about wheelchair accessible trails, and I feel like the longer I'm on this committee, the more I'm realizing, how can we really take advantage of that? We had somebody else at that hike who asked me, she's like, I didn't know. My husband's in a wheelchair, I would have brought him. And because it's been so dry, for those of you who know Negri, you go up the wheelchair accessible path to the bird blind, right? And that's it. But because it was so dry, Anne Marie led them around the pond, and the people with the wheelchair wanted to give it a shot. And normally the mud there would not have allowed it, but because it's been so dry, it worked, and it was really lovely. So I just wanted to bring it up. I know in our Pathways to Trails plan, we didn't make a big emphasis on that, but just thinking about maybe that's something as we're thinking forward, and as we're planning more group hikes, where do we want to think about, do we want to expand the wheelchair accessibility at Negri? Do we want to can we get that loop? Can we do that loop? And to have that be something constant, or are there other trails that we want to think about making those wheelchair accessible? Like, for instance, I know Bunker Hill Natural Area, the Yellow Trail. That Yellow Trail loop it's wide open grass. You go back around. I don't know elevation wise, because I don't know the specific requirements for wheelchair accessibility, but I'm thinking that could possibly be a nice, and it's not changing the nature component that much, right? We're not knocking down trees, we're not having to do that much. So I was trying to think of what are some natural possibilities in Terra, and I don't know from the planning end and from approval end what that would take. So I just wanted to kind of start that conversation.
And also at Griggstown, if you're in the parking lot, if you go down to the right, where the astronomy guys hang out,
Yeah.
you go straight down there and then make that right. You can do that loop around that field, and all that is flat. You'd have to widen it up by the houses a little bit.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
That would be one flat route with a loop that you could do.
Yeah. But we need to get the crushed stone.
You could almost
Yeah.
do that pathway down and then come back, but it's not very big. But you wouldn't want to go down that hill.
Is this something that we feel, something for us to want to can be intentional about considering and adding to our existing trails and future trails?
Absolutely.
For the trails we had in our November meeting, we noticed some inconsistencies with the information we have on our website. where some of the trails were indicated as ADA accessible, but
No, they're not.
I
Or
think-
they have gone into disuse.
right,
Yeah,
or the
because of a lot of erosion.
the actual conditions didn't allow for that, or may have changed the terrain and what the surface quality is like. But I think first would be updating that information that we have available to the public, and then two, I'm absolutely on board with doing what we can to expand accessibility on our trails. I don't know what whether there are any detriments to adding crushed stone over existing grass trail. Like, does anything else have to be done to retain the stone, or?
Yeah, you have to mat it down and grade it properly and then put the stone over it. Yeah, so, but we can do that. We're definitely able to. So moving forward, we can make sure that certain areas of the trails are ADA accessible, but it's also making sure that the amenities, I think we should be looking at the amenities too, like benches, parking. It's one thing to have the ADA trail, but if you can't get to it, because it's amazing how many, blockades there are basically to getting to an ADA compliant thing. So we really need to look at that as well.
To Negri, there's a chain right there.
Right.
You can't wheel a wheelchair up there,
Yes.
Is there any specific intention
although it's
in
easy
our
to take off.
PTP?
We do discuss it in our PTP, but briefly. So what we can do is we can look up standards, I guess, through like the Americans with Disabilities Association, maybe talk to Maria from Therapeutic and see, because it's really a lot of amenities too that we really should be looking at,
So, and I think maybe we want to start small.
Mhm.
Like, so I don't know if we would want to think about, do we want to think about expanding the one at Negri? Do we want to think about looking into the possibilities of that? Or do we want to think about adding another kind of a launch of a handicap wheelchair accessible trail at another, like the one I just mentioned? At Bunker Hill, although open to all the trails, because even at Middlebush, right? A lot of that probably is already wheelchair.
Probably a lot of it. I mean, a lot of it's flat.
Would you
A lot of
include
our
Naaman
parks.
Williams, because that's paved,
Yeah.
a paved loop?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. We can include that.
Yeah.
But maybe one thing we should look at, in terms of, I think expanding it depends on the level we want to go to, but we might be able to get someone from like a professional from the ADA to come and walk one of these trails with us and show us this is a problem. Just so we understand, maybe, not actually do a project, but understand why is this a problem,
Yeah, okay. And I would love to, I personally think it would be nice to kind of look at Negri and kind of build off of, I don't know how that was put in and what they went through and who they got the approvals from for that. So is there a possibility, or is it just too wet there, to expand it?
The other side would be a problem.
But even if that loop, you know what I mean? If we were just to do the,
You mean the birders would be upset too, it's a balance.
Yeah.
but all we're talking about though is the path. We're not talking about impacting any of the trees or grass, the tall grass.
Yeah.
And then there's a problem with DPW maintaining them too. Because I've said many times when the gravel was washed away, replenishing that has to be done on a consistent basis, or you can't. That woman was very strong. That was helping the young man around. I don't know if other people could have handled it as well. And it was so drought. The earth was so compact. It was so easy to move.
So I think so. So Tara, what you're saying is good. We can start by getting somebody who has some expertise with that to come out and
There's
take
got to
a
be.
walk.
There's definitely
Great
people.
idea. I'd like to see that happen.
There's definitely people. I just have to find out who the best person is, but I'm sure there's.
I think Chuck had a lead on someone too.
Does AARP have?
Oh,
AARP might,
There's got to be some
Might be some
mobility
grants.
advocacy, mobility nonprofit that would have somebody on their staff that would be willing to.
Yeah. I'm just gonna put this up on my screen so I remember to look it up. But I think maybe that's a good way to start to figure out where are our barriers and what can we do to fix that. Because honestly, making some of the trails more ADA. So this happened in Manville. We there's this little back by the river, there's like this forested area, and we were like, we're gonna make this compliant for ADA. We were so excited, got it all ready and everything, and then for about 3 weeks, but after the trail was open, like our DPW, we were asking, there was like a piece of wood in front of it, like it used to be a curb or something, like drilled into the ground, like we couldn't get it out. Basically, you could not get your wheelchair over it. So that's the thing. There's little barriers sometimes like that we don't think of because, and so that's the thing. It might be like, hey, this is not, in order to make this really truly ADA compliant, it's not just putting down material, but making sure, even in the parking areas, where the parking areas, can a person with a wheelchair get out here? Like, could you do that in Irina Poti if you were in a wheelchair and it had rained? Like, can you easily get out
Depending on
and
how
get
the
yourself to the trail?
There's that chain across the thing.
Right.
You can't get up.
That's the problem.
So, but it's not locked, so you can move it. And
Right.
then for the hike, we allowed them to park up there.
Right, which is perfect.
So that way, that works.
But barring like an
I
event.
wouldn't want to open it up for people to park up there.
No, but that could be a good handicap spot, though.
Right.
Like
Right.
if there was one parking.
I'd be very
spot-
careful because people
Yeah,
violate
people
that all the
ignore.
time.
Yeah, it might be as simple as like, the parking lot there, it has like the, what do you call it, like ruts and everything in it all the time. Maybe making that parking area with a surface that's more ADA compliant so someone can get themselves there. Because really when you say all ages and accessibilities, it's supposed to be like that. It's accessible on any given day, right? So maybe it's something like that. Like ruts in a parking lot are a big, problem. So that could be something
Yeah.
just to think about.
I know, but I also don't want perfect to get in the way of good
Yeah.
as well. And I know that the people who came to that hike really appreciated it.
Oh,
and like,
absolutely.
and it was like, and they were able to navigate it. But I
Right.
understand, like, I get the ADA code and the reason for it and the value of it.
Yeah.
My vast 23 seconds of research on the internet have helped me find a organization, a nonprofit called Disability Rights New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Which seems like from, once again,
It's a
the
small
last
group.
20 seconds of my 23 seconds of things. It seems like they do quite a bit of things. And one of the things that I saw that might be is community inclusion, right?
Oh,
So they seem to have
perfect.
staff. I mean, they do stuff like sue on behalf of people, protect against abuse or something like that. But they might be a good place to reach out to first to say,
Yeah.
look, we are a municipality, we have a trails organization, we're looking.
Right. I like it.
don't sue us.
Oh, please don't sue.
What's their name?
What's abuse and neglect? I mean,
Disability
that's,
Rights
I don't think we're there.
New
Disability Rights New Jersey.
We've used them for different things at work.
Yeah.
I've never used them for anything like
I can start off there and like start doing some research from
No,
there.
no idea, but I suspect
I
if you
like it.
call them, they might know.
I like AARP. And
I agree, but maybe if the Negri Trail is, say we find that might be difficult to expand that one, maybe we do look at the Bunker Hill one and make that area, that's flat there, that is flat. That parking lot is flat, that's good.
Yeah.
So we could try that
Okay.
too.
Yeah, I think that we just, and maybe we get somebody, we can like kind of show them a few of our trails and just kind of figure out what would be the lightest lift, the heaviest lift,
Right.
and like I like the idea at Griggstown as well, at John Clyde.
That's almost,
Having a section
to the
there.
river.
That ones really lend
The
themselves.
grasslands are lending themselves. The open paths are lending themselves. Like Butler Road.
the one you're talking about.
You
If you go straight and
Intro
around
part.
to the left, right? That one, instead of going down the hill,
Yeah.
straight and around to the left.
Right.
Pretty flat. That
Yeah.
would work.
The top,
Yeah.
the top section there.
And actually, that'd be nice because it is a loop, so someone could actually loop instead of coming in.
One thing I worked on with rec, and it never came to fruition, but when Bo was here, I was working on it with him back behind the senior rec center right here.
Yeah.
I went there one day for the local health assessment. We held
Yeah.
a focus group, and I was like, what's back here? And I walked back there, and I was like, I had like my heels on, so this like is what gave me the idea. I was like, there's roots everywhere. How am I supposed to get through here? And then I was like, how are the senior citizens getting through here if I can't even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we started talking about it, and it was like, yes, we have to lower the benches. Or I'm sorry, we have to raise the benches. Like things you don't think about. Like it's harder for someone with mobility issues to sit low in a bench
Because
or
then
have a bench with no
figure it out.
back, right?
Yeah.
So stuff like that is important to think about,
I'm just putting those new benches.
Yeah, but those are good for people with backpacks. But yeah, I mean, but moving forward, it's stuff to think about, you know?
Right.
And not every
We just
bench
need
needs
some
to be high,
guidance.
just
Right.
a height,
But
right?
even think about that,
Yeah.
the senior center back here, people are not using it because they have a hard time. They step, first of all, you can't, there's no like area to just walk, you have to step. So that's step number one is a problem. All the benches, I mean, one of the tables literally looked like this, like no one wants to sit there, definitely not
Yeah.
someone that has mobility. And it's a shame because it's a beautiful area outside.
It's a bit overgrown.
It is, but it can be
Yeah.
fixed in the if that was
Yeah,
all
it
fixed,
could
it
be.
actually could be usable.
Right, and then that pathway connects over to the old Middleborough School.
Right.
And there's that field there.
In half an hour, folks, we're gonna have to move on a little bit.
All right. Her reappointment
Chatty
as,
bunch.
you know, this is a lunch
Yeah.
there, she's like, oh, let's go. But I know, I don't know if it was another meeting or a conversation
Been to
we had,
one?
Tara, it was also
10
a
o'clock.
meeting about like
Sure.
trails, like in this area, trails by the library, like,
Yes.
oh, it was the storybook trails.
Yes, yes.
So like I think that's also a great spot for a storybook trail, and that's another thing we could keep in mind, wheelchair accessible for that too.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, we'll start doing some digging on it.
Great. Moving on to old business. T-shirts for Trails Advisory members and volunteers.
T-shirts are approved through the Open Space Committee, which is great. Right now, the budget is like in a holding pattern right now because I guess right before the temporary budget is approved, there's a period of time that we can't order things. And basically right after the OSAC meeting, like the next day is when it began. So as soon as that opens up, we can order them. But approved actually with extra shirts too, which was interesting because that was the same night we got denied for. But then they approved. They were like, "Oh, get extra shirts, get extra long
Yeah, but they were really
sleeves."
cheap. They were really
They were.
Yeah.
Maybe a quantity discount, right?
Yeah,
So if
because
you
we
order
were like,
something,
well,
it's like
Chuck
this.
needs one because he helps us with things, and so
volunteering.
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, it's for the promotional things that we're doing, and you know, it's in addition to the
Yeah.
hats. Jim is the only one with a cool hiking T-shirt.
I'm sure other people have it, they just don't wear it.
Next item we have is Pathways and Trails Plan.
So I spoke to Mark Healy yesterday, the planning director. So he would like to get it on he spoke to the chairman. The chairman says we don't need 2 meetings for it. Like they don't need a full presentation from us and then the approval. They're good with just going ahead with the approval, which is very good. So the planning board has reviewed it. They're good with it. We're required as part of the adoption to the master plan process to have a public hearing. So he would like to schedule the public hearing. He originally wanted to schedule it for March 19th. I can't do that day. It's literally the one day in the spring that I cannot do. It's like a hard no. So the first meeting of April, first planning board meeting of April is when we're hoping, and it should be presented, approved, and then within 30 days after that, it can be part of the adoption.
Oh, wow.
So that's good. So that's really good. So
A decade in the making.
chicken.
Now it's time to do it, start again.
I-
For the next one.
Okay, next item is the photo contest.
I haven't made any progress on the photo contest, I gotta be honest. That I haven't gotten to.
Okay.
We said we were gonna do like some kind of version of it, but I haven't done anything for it, so maybe we can just discuss it at the next meeting.
Yeah,
because I don't even
I
remember.
have to look back at the minutes.
Yeah,
from
we said we were gonna do some version of it, so.
Yeah.
Tara, are you able to find like in files like somewhere in this building about the old photos
Yeah,
from previous years?
we do. We have old photos from previous years. The way we did it before, though, is we basically had, I guess it was like a deadline, and then we would vote on them and all of that. I think we were thinking about maybe somehow doing it quarterly. I got to go back and look at the minutes because I didn't do anything with it.
Can you bring the photos here? Because there's the losers as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, show all of the, how many we get.
So from 2018, I have them electronically that I can pull up if you want. I can pull them up like at any point.
Oh, okay.
But the older ones, they're in a file somewhere, I'm sure, in the building. That I would have to hunt down. But yeah, but I do still use them all the time. Any photos I put out are from the photo contest because we have permission to use them. So.
The Walk All Trails program.
Wait, from last meeting's conversation, there is nothing specific about when the photo contest would start, but there was a lot of discussion about starting after hunting season.
Oh, okay, okay.
Good point,
All
Chris.
right, so let's talk about it at the next meeting then.
And the thing-
Right.
That does make sense.
Okay.
My memory and like my takeaway, and this might have just been my takeaway, was that the time frame doesn't necessarily matter, right?
Yeah.
It could be very, very long
Yeah.
time frame. What we want to do is just like open up a photo contest, start getting submissions, and then maybe take them all the way to the end of the calendar year, right? So,
Correct.
and then it's, you know, and then this time next year announce who won, right? Like last year's, you know what I mean? So it could be a very, very long thing, because I think the fun is in the taking of the pictures and the submitting them, not necessarily announcing, winners or whatever, right? And closing.
I miss our calendars. I have to tell you, I miss our calendars. Okay.
They're good publicity. Okay.
Sorry.
So we're gonna come back to that one. Thank you, Chris. The Walk All Trails program.
That I really want to do the Walk All Trails program. Like ever since Jim brought it up, I'm like, I really, really want to do it. I think we can do it really simply by like putting together a flyer. Like I can work on putting together a flyer. It would be on the honor system. Like we're not gonna, right? We're not gonna like verify, or I guess I could even make a page, or yeah, I could make a Google form or something that someone could fill out and say like, oh, on this date I walked here, there, wherever. Or I could do a paper that. But then I don't want them to have to come here, so like someone initial, I don't know. What do you think?
No,
We'll need to
honor
verify.
system,
Yeah.
honor system. And again, you just kind of have like, each trail on each trail, each blue trail, red trail on this, what's it called, Butler Road or something, and then
Yeah.
put the date they
Yeah.
how many miles it is and when they did it, or
Right.
So more or less the
Yeah.
descriptions that you have in the PTP for each trail, and then just have blocks where they can check it off.
Check
and
off. Yeah.
Write a date down.
And write a date. I can even do that as a Google form, and people can fill
Right.
it out right on their phone or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Another option would be
Like a sticker or a pin or.
a QR code there.
That's what I was thinking.
QR code, you scan it in, you put in there, like, put your name in there and maybe a contact number. That's it, or an
That's
email.
true.
Yeah, we could do that too. That would be a good idea too.
Yeah.
The QR code on a sign, right on the trail, and
Thinking of getting the sign installed.
And we could even that QR code, as far as like adding it to the trail profiles as well. Like as we're putting these profiles up, if you want to do our hike all the trails, walk all the trails program, start with this trail.
Yeah.
And
I
they
like
can
it.
register and sign up for that.
Yeah, and we do have money in our open space budget. We can buy, like, there is a line for like promotional items. If we want to buy something and then give it to the person, they can come to a council meeting and get like a citation or something,
pin or a sticker.
Yeah, and then you get like a pin or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, we give away a calendar
We can make.
Yeah.
and a hat
Sheep.
How about a whistle?
Make a sticker for each.
and a certificate. You saw the certificate I got.
A sticker for each trail. And if you hike the trail, you get the sticker, and then you collect all the stickers.
Yeah. I think people really like getting like the citation, or I don't know if it's really called a citation.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, people enjoy that.
They get a certificate, they get a hat,
Yeah.
no calendar, but something,
Yeah.
and recognition. So again, we had pictures of the people that won the calendar contest, but
Yeah.
people that did the trails too.
Because it's not going to be all that many people.
No,
It's really not.
I think I was like the only person.
I'm sure. Yeah, because it's a lot.
And that's, if maybe you could do it, and like I said, if you give them like a sticker or something for every trail they did, then you can get school kids to at least start.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Everyone
wonder
start,
if-
do one sticker, and then.
I wonder if we can partner with, we can probably partner even too with Safi, because she runs the Healthy Franklin program.
Oh, yeah.
And they have access to giveaways and things like that, because that would go with like walking, I wonder if we could figure, because she's great at designing flyers, and also she has
Yeah.
awesome giveaways. Maybe I could partner with her.
And I wonder, do you think it's important that it's all the trails? Because I'm wondering if it could be
I was
could
going
it
to ask
be,
that
like,
too.
5 trails or 10 trails?
Yeah, I mean,
Or do you just want the
every single
Franklin
trail.
trails, do you want the county trails, or do you want the state trails? Because it did include all of them, because it said over 60 plus miles. And again, with the canal, you rode a bike.
Yeah,
It's like, but again, you can,
But this would actually tie into our local health assessment. If
Yeah.
we pick like certain trails, and we can equate it to like how many calories we burned or how many hours of sunlight you got or whatever. If we can link it to health somehow, we can say, oh, we completed a project from our local health assessment, which is even better. And I can partner. Should we pick certain trails, like one from each place, or should we?
Yeah. I mean, I'm picking 6 trails or something like
Well, I
that.
was gonna say, if you can get a summary of all the trails I mean, we have it in the PTP, but a summary of all the trails, and then we kind of say, okay, maybe we want 10 miles or 20 miles or something like that.
That's a good idea.
Or maybe like
Yeah.
I said, maybe just the Franklin trails.
Yeah, just
And maybe
yeah.
Colonial Park.
Right.
And other than that, we can skip the canal.
Yeah, I agree. I think that makes
I
sense.
know the library had done like a special like trail theme this summer, and they had kind of made their own like flyer of all of our trails in one. And it wasn't anything fancy. It was a lot of, but I think kind of you're saying reminds me of that, and that would be nice. And then I'm also wondering if we can be strategic about the hikes that we're leading. Like as we're planning our hikes for the year, it could be like if they were to attend, like let's say X number of our hikes, it would help them achieve this goal. I know my niece and my nephew, from the time they were like 5 till over 10, we would go to the Zimmerli Museum for their Passport to Art program. And so from October to May, they would have once a month, like the first Saturday of the month, where you'd go and you'd do whatever art lesson it was, but they'd like stamp your passport, right? Not that we need to stamp a passport, but
Right.
but it was still like it was something like a little extra incentive, like we don't want to miss it.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
we
We could do that.
We could think about like our events, and that they could do it on their own if they wanted to, but also our events could help.
I agree. I like it. So do you want me to
So many
start working
possibilities.
on that? You want me to start working on a flyer, and I can contact Safi too, because she'll have some really good thoughts of how to combine the health factor,
Sure.
which will be. Because she might, for all I know, Healthy Franklin might have a goal of like we want people walking more, and we can say, okay, like here we are,
And you can tie in the miles also.
Yeah,
as you walk.
absolutely.
Take a hike, Franklin.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah. Then I could probably equate it to like how many vehicle miles are saved, and I can give that to the environmental commission. So it's like a whole ball of things coming together. That would work.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I'll reach out to Safi, then I'll try and start getting something going. I think she'll like that. I think she'll enjoy that.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I have nothing on things to do map. I'm sorry. I've been told that I have to wait just a little bit to figure out what's going on with that. So I'm on hold with IT right now.
I forgive you for that.
Um,
We'll let you slide on
I
that.
know. Thank you.
Yeah. The next item is trail walks and events. So just to share a couple updates with that, the winter nature hikes and nighttime hikes. So we had the Sunday, December 8th hike, and my friend Kia came. She happened to have, like, the week before we'd hiked on the towpath starting at Landing Lane. And I'd want to start at Demont Lane, and she said, "Can we do Land Lane?" I'm like, "Sure." Instead, the next weekend she texted me, "Hey, do you want to hike? We'll do Demont Lane." I'm like, "I'm leading a hike." I was like, "Meet me there," and she was the only person who came. So
all right.
didn't get anybody there.
Yeah.
And I definitely know that like the winter is harder and colder, and people are, even though it's been such a
It was
mild.
cold. One of those days was really cold too.
Yeah. Well, the December, and then the Friday, December 13th at John Clyde, we had, Chris came with Chris came with his 2 children. His daughter was sick.
Yeah, she was.
Aw.
So we had they stayed for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was, your son wanted to stay, which was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had it was a storybook hike, and so we had a couple, and then another woman and her daughter she's a former teacher from my school, and her daughter came for the hike. So.
Was the astronomy club there at the same time?
But it was so cold. They were a very bare bones setup. There was just like the one telescope was there, and just Zach and another member. But it was great. It was a great night, and because it's always busy, I never actually look. So I got to look, and we picked this night because he said it was gonna be a great night for astronomy.
Right.
And so yeah, so you could see we could see the rings of Saturn.
Oh, wow.
We saw there's a lot of texture in the moon. The moon, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And you could like move it. You could like, he had like a remote control and you could like move like the lens around so you could see like the whole, because you're not looking at it, you're looking at zoomed in, right? So it's the perimeter of it. So it was beautiful. It was
Oh,
a
that's good.
nice hike. It was very cold. But I definitely, so I think it's good to do some winter stuff, but I
Yeah.
definitely feel like I was a little
Yeah.
bummed that we didn't get more of a turnout for the hikes. So I'm going to keep that in mind remind me of this when I'm scheduling December hikes next year.
I will, yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah, so that was that. And I don't know if there's any other hikes that we want to talk about scheduling at this time, or if we want to save that for our next meeting.
Maybe next meeting, only because does anyone have any like,
I'm just waiting for hunting season to end.
yeah.
Oh, we as a group, we were going to go to that new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing that in March, right? Or something like that.
Did we
I
say
forget.
February?
Yeah, it was February. I think it was March 1st was a rain date, I want to say, and
Yeah.
February
Yeah.
something, yeah.
So as soon as it ends, we're going.
Yeah, I have it on my calendar.
What date was it? Could someone refresh my
I think
memory,
last
please?
weekend of February.
February, last week in February?
Yep.
That's a fun trip.
Oh, yeah, we did, we agreed Sunday the 23rd at 11:30
23rd,
at 51 Old Georgetown Road.
11:30 a.m.
And the address again? Robert, you had it.
51 Old Georgetown Road.
That's our date.
51 County Road 518.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how I got Old
It's
Georgetown.
both.
I think
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
same,
It's
yeah.
like-
Well, 518, I thought Old Georgetown was off of 518. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know who's right.
I think Old Georgetown is 518,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah, they're the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, 518 is just like the county road number, but I do the same thing. I think they're one and the same.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Does Coppermine hit 518? That's what I was thinking maybe.
Copper mine. Yes, it does at some point.
I think
Copper
maybe that
mine.
Did you
was
say
your-
Georgetown Road or Old Georgetown?
I said Old Georgetown Road, which is
Okay.
definitely not 518.
Yeah, because I know it's an offshoot off
Yeah,
of
that
it.
goes
It's
Google
part.
Maps.
Oh, Georgetown Franklin Turnpike is 518.
That's it.
what
Yeah,
it is,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Old Georgetown
This
Road
is-
comes off of that, and that does hit Copper Mine, you're right.
Yeah,
Yes,
Georgetown.
Franklin Turnpike, I think it's called.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
Google Maps
place
is what
that
it
we're
calls
going
it.
is
Yes.
actually Georgetown Franklin Turnpike.
Oh, cool, okay, that's
Yeah.
518.
Is it?
Yep.
It's
it is.
518.
Yep,
This is on the other side. Yeah, I'm in the wrong place.
So that's our new thing, good.
yeah.
Is it still
I'll just see.
51?
I figure we'll
What?
be.
What'd you say?
Is there an address? Is it still 51?
51,
51
yeah.
Georgetown Franklin Turnpike?
That's it,
All
yeah.
right.
Okay, so we'll meet then, and then let's start thinking about what hikes people want to possibly lead, so we can just get them out there, and especially when we do these profiles, if we have upcoming hikes, we want to like advertise those upcoming hikes too. Are there any Audubon or anything hikes that we know of yet?
Not yet, so
Okay.
usually beginning of February is when they'll send me their list for the year of what they want to do, so.
Okay. Update on trail conditions.
Before we do that, I just have one question. We talked about the master gardener, and I don't
Yes.
think we never connected on that.
Right.
So what do we want to do about that?
So what we are right now, the status on that is
Because that's so wonderful.
yeah. So we
And maybe some other people will be interested in that.
Sure. Yes, so Rutgers Master Gardener, the Somerset County group, I submitted a project to initiate a compendium, or rather a collection of all the native plants that grow in the trail systems. Basically along the trail as people are walking, and we picked one, which is Negrinipote. And just because it's the most popular one, it's also a whole lot easier for a person to get through, and there are lots of facilities as well, so I took a look at that. And the stage that it is that right now it's collecting, so we've submitted the project. We are going to be collecting about 6 to 7 master gardeners
Wow.
who are gonna come over and initiate the project to see what makes sense. Are they gonna look at trees? Are they gonna look at plants, ornamentals, or whatever is growing? But then they're going to be focusing on the natives.
Okay.
And if there are any problematic invasives, they will mention it, but like it's something that, so they are in the process of collecting people who are interested and who have the knowledge to help out. They will be getting in touch with Tara.
Awesome. I
They
love
need
this.
some permissions, situation there.
Perfect.
And once that's there, I think the dates that they plan to initiate is somewhere first week of March.
Wow.
So Jenny, this is something like, that's why another reason I thought of Pravesh immediately. If again, if that's something, because Jenny has a lot of experience and that's what she
I've
works
done
in.
plant surveys in the region.
Yeah.
So it would be great to have you. And if you want to join the Rutgers Master Gardener program, you're welcome to. Yes.
I'm gonna ask my mother-in-law. She's a master gardener too, actually, but she's from Middlesex. But that's okay. She would be interested in it, maybe. My mother-in-law.
So, I mean,
Would they identify like the trees and the plants? So someone like myself.
I'm like Joan.
You say, oh, this is the.
I know a bunch of
mulberry.
that's true.
Because I volunteer at my school. My
That
mom.
is the intent, and which is why we're trying to collect people who are knowledgeable in trees and
Master gardener.
plants.
But she's
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yes.
And again, like, I am in the learning, so I'm in the Native Plant Society, so I'm learning about it. It's still too early for me to say I'm an expert, so, But then anyone can use, if you are like, you can use, there are apps.
She knows all the plants.
You identify, you just take a picture
Gardener, you
of
know
the for the bark, or, plant itself, and they'll help you identify it as well.
Excellent.
Great. Well, that's
All right, well, when I get the information, I'll let you know, of course, and Pravesh, I'll work with you. I'll keep everybody in the loop.
On Maps, Google Maps.
I think that'll be a great project. I really
It would be, and I think I showed you the thing that they've done for,
Yes.
like the Washington Valley Park, and they're
Yes.
working on the Sourland.
It's cool. It's really cool. Yeah, I think that's going to be great. People are going to love that.
Information we can utilize when we go on more walks.
That's on Google Maps.
This is great.
What do you have to search?
Anybody else have any trails conditions?
Everyone.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna kind of pull us all back together now. So, okay, other trail updates, trail conditions.
The driveway. So we've had a little bit of rain and a little bit of snow, but that gravel is dropping down the driveway at the John Clyde.
Yes, okay.
Are the ruts more exposed?
Not yet, but
Okay.
you can
We're
tell
getting
that there's, it's collecting at the base of the driveway and into Canal Road. So
Oh,
people
jeez.
have to swerve just a little bit.
Oh my God, okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell DPW
And it
again.
still looks like there's now a driveway going into the backyard of that house.
Yes.
So,
I remember
I don't know if
telling me
that's
about
been-
that. Someone else mentioned that to me too, the same thing, and they thought it was being used as an Airbnb.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have to look into that.
And I think
Using it as an Airbnb would be okay, but it can't infringe, and you can't use
They
the
can't
John
use-
Clyde as like your advertisement on
Driveway.
B&B, Airbnb, yeah.
Oh, right.
Could you imagine? I'd be like, come stay in a beautiful preserve, and it'd be like, that's not yours, Okay, I'll tell DPW about that and see if we can get somebody out there.
Are there any tread marks from that opening in the fence to the driveway?
Someone said that to me. Someone
Oh,
else.
yeah, you
Was it
can see-
Vanessa?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it used to be all brush there, and now it's like a clear in and out for a car.
Are we talking about the right-hand side as you're going in?
Yeah, that beautiful old White House
Yeah.
where that chest is. So I think he sold that house. So I don't know if he sold it or he kept it in his Airbnb-ing it. I'm not sure. I'm not. But definitely there's kind of. Yeah, somebody said it was like a venue, maybe they're using it for weddings.
Using
We
it
don't
as
know.
a
It could be all gossip. I don't know. But it's just definitely that brush, because the person who lived there was very, like any resident would want privacy. They weren't wanting to, the fact that now there's like this connection is really, I think, is unusual
That
for the
is.
person who was living there, unless something has changed.
Fence.
Yeah. So as far as like my trail, so I've reported before the fence was fixed at Bunker Hill Natural Area, but then somebody must have backed into it, and so one of the center posts and then the 4 beams connecting to it are all down. So it's been a couple months. It's been a few months now that's been down. There's also been more graffiti. So I personally spray painted over it, a lot of MAGA graffiti.
Okay.
So, and the same thing at John Clyde as well. Like there was some there, and I just spray painted over it. I bought spray paint to cover some graffiti near my school. So now I was like just going around like taking care of that.
Got it. I'm just on the Airbnb website making sure it's not on here.
Yes, that's it, yeah.
There is 2 that are right by our preserve, but they're not on our preserve. But they're right next door.
Was the other one Verbo or something?
No, they're both Airbnb, but one is, for 5 nights, $2,700 for 5 nights. So
Glenn, is that kind of a draw?
I have a guest room that I can.
Yeah.
I'm only a mile.
$500. Second time is 3.
All right. Okay. I think that's it for our trail updates. And like I said, we're going to meet on February 23rd. Start thinking about spring hikes we want to do. You said you're going to do the next. So I'm doing the action items. Like
Yeah,
you're going to do
I am
the next
definitely. I commit
profile of
to
a
a
trail.
profile.
And then hopefully we can kind of connect some of our advertising for our next hikes, and then possibly even our, hiking all the trails in Franklin contest or opportunity. All right. Any other additional items? If not, motion for adjournment. I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no extensions or nays, motion carries.